Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our TNA show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Dino Bravo.
So I got killed by the Mafia. Thanks, asshole. Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And before we talk about our TNA show...
Ludwig Borga. Here's Ludwig Borga. And we're both been killed by the Mafia.
Ludwig Borga is still alive.
Oh, he's dead. He killed himself.
Before we talk about the TNA show, there's something really important we need to get off our chests. Something that we're really worried about. One of our good friends, Paul, over at the Deadly Sins. If you don't know, they do eating challenges, and he's let us in on the next challenge he's going to do. We're not going to spoil it for you guys because he asked us not to, but we are seriously worried about his health. I mean, this is the most insane challenge I've ever heard. Have you ever heard of anybody doing anything this crazy?
Dude, I wouldn't do it.
I mean, this...
I feel bad for him. He's got a wife and kids, man. He shouldn't be doing stuff like this.
I mean, we love you, Paul, and we're seriously scared for your health after this. Now, I got it written down, what it's called here. It's called the Erroneous Challenge. And this is his quotes. The most difficult, mentally exhausting challenge he's ever attempted. Coming to YouTube on February 5th, 2013. So 3 days from now, check back over at the Deadly Sins to see the most crazy, insane, hardest eating challenge that I think anybody's ever come up with. And even if you're not into eating challenges, check this out because this is if he pulls this off, I mean,
it's the gravest challenge.
I think it is. I think he's gonna make Kobayashi look like his bitch if he pulls this one off. Anyway,
I won't talk about it. I'm still worried.
I'm worried for him too. I hope he makes it through okay because his toilet's gonna be hurt.
For a squirting.
Now on to the TNA show. TNA was live in England this week. I think it was London, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Very observant.
Observant?
Exactly. Observant.
The first thing we seen was Bad Influence came out in their Scottish kilts and basically to get a rise out of the English crowd, did their William Wallace thing, which brought out Magnus, who we haven't seen in a little while.
Magnus was faced up there, boy. I mean, well, hometown boy.
Yeah, they loved Magnus, and he was going face. I mean, the Aces and Eights thing technically made him a face when they jumped him, and being that it's open fight night, after Magnus had his little thing with Bad Influence, he called out Devon.
A solid match. One of Devon's more solid matches, I think, since Pair Singles.
I rather enjoyed it. I liked Magnus getting a win in his hometown. Magnus is a guy that me and you have talked that we like a lot, and we think he's one of the guys that could be the future of TNA.
Well, you look at the guy. He's got a perfect build. He's great size. He's a great talker. And he's got a lot of in-ring ability, and he's only 26 years old. I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy. Unless if he stays clean, away from drugs, stuff like that, this kid could be a world champion for WWE, not just for TNA. I'm saying he could be he could be up there. I think there's a lot of potential.
I think the sky's the limit for the kid.
Huge upside.
And now another guy that has huge upside talent, Joseph Park. I mean, this is one of the most exciting rookies I've seen in a long time. And he calls it.
Really?
He was going to call out somebody, but the Robbies, Robbie E and bigger Robbie T, come out. Basically, Robbie E calls out Joseph Park, and this is the first time he's got a win.
Well, I like what they did with the Robbie E coming out because he was trash-talking all of the people of England. And you can see he was pissing Rob Terry off. He goes, then he turns around, except for you. Which is good because they still need, well, Bigger Rob, they still need to keep Bigger Rob heel. You know, I mean, I think a face turn's inevitable, but I like the tag team. What can I say?
Me too. I really think they're entertaining. I find it sad that Robbie is used as a jobber for the bigger talent because I do think he has a lot of potential and he's someone that could be a big-time player in the X Division.
He could.
Now, speaking of big-time player in the X Division, one of the longest reigning, I think the longest reigning X Division champions.
9 months.
Austin Aries versus Chavo Guerrero was up next. I thought it was a decent match.
I liked the match. I really liked the match.
I think it's the best match that Chavo's put on in TNA.
That's what I was about to say. I think even before TNA, most of his probably the last 4 years into his WWE deal, this was the best match he's had since then.
Would you say this is the second best match of the night? The main event being the best match?
Yeah, I would go that far. I mean, Magnus and Devon was good, but...
I really like this. They did a solid outing. I thought it was really good, what they did there. Now, coming out of that, we had some solid build with 3 good matches in a row, and then we had storyline crap. We have Brooke and Bully Ray coming out. First they call out Sting. I love Sting's jacket. What do you think?
Yeah, it was excellent.
It was kind of an old school.
Old school. It was kind of like, remember when British Bulldog worked for WCW?
Yeah.
It was a jacket just like that, because I saw it when I was a kid here. Bulldog wrestled right down the street.
Well, I really liked it because of that. I liked it. Kind of said to me it was Sting's $5,000 Flair robe.
Exactly.
I liked it. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to go on and on about a robe, but then Sting called out.
As long as the shoes match, right there, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Sting called out his life partner, Hulk Hogan, and the Huckster came out and basically said, "Bully Ray, I'm going to reinstate you, brother, because I always do the right thing." He does the right thing more than Spike Lee.
Anyway, it was a segment that had to happen for the storyline wise. Other than that, Hogan really wasn't heavy in the show, so I mean that was a good thing about this show.
Yeah, I think might as well go into it. Our Hulk Hogan count for the week is 1, up, 1 Thunder Lips, which is right about right. I like 1 or 2 appearances from the Huckster, and it worked. It worked well. Like you said, it carried on the storylines, and it had a reason for him to come out there. He wasn't just stroking his ego, even though.
Well, he strokes his ego if he breathes. But see, I like it when they have the authority figure in 1 or 2 segments. I mean, you look at Raw. Vicky Guerrero is hardly on there anymore. Perfect. You look at
Perfect wasn't on there.
You look at Ring of Honor
for about 10 years.
Oh, Look at Ring of Honor. Nigel's hardly on there. You know, it works good because people are watching wrestling, not Hulk Hogan.
Exactly. Now, speaking of authority figures, we had the big announcement, the first one of the year, because you know there's going to be 50 more from Dixie every other week. She has a big announcement.
This is a pretty good one.
And this was actually a big announcement. They're taking Impact live on the road beginning March 14th.
So no more Harry Potter ride, kids.
Nope. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit because I want to get into our question of the week now. Now, the question of the week from last week is, how did you feel about the reveal with Anderson and Taz joining Aces and Eights? Now, we got some answers from some of our friends here. The first is from our friend Joshua Adams, 1044. Anderson just seems out of place because he wasn't doing anything before. It seemed forced like his Immortal run. Taz, now that was a surprise and I like it. That was a shot in the ass, not the arm. LOL. That has me wanting to see more. And then here's another one for our friend Paul, who we were talking about a little bit earlier, from over at the Deadly Sins. Adding Anderson and Taz was a shot in the arm that Aces and Eights needed. It was getting boring with them not revealing anyone, and I think they figured that out. Taz and Anderson are good on the mic, and I can't wait for next week to see what happens. I think we echo the statements of both these guys. I think they looked at it, and Devon, as good as he is, isn't a good mouthpiece, and they needed a guy like Taz to become a mouthpiece for them. And I think he made a good mouthpiece, and then they also needed a main event wrestler, which Mr. Anderson, who's been a former TNA world champion, definitely fits the mold of a main event wrestler in TNA.
Good. My opinion on it is they were doing a little bit with Anderson beforehand. Remember, he got jumped by Aces and Eights, and I think that actually worked perfect into the setup of him joining Aces and Eights because Aces and Eights jumped him. And if you remember that episode, I thought it was pretty screwed up because everybody's in the ring while he's getting beat up outside near the Harry Potter ride, and they could have just ran out there and saved him. No one went for the save. They just left him out there, and they turned around and made Bully his tag team partner. So it was kind of a slap in the face.
Exactly.
So I like it, and plus with Taz's needed to be a mouthpiece. They could have gotten by with just Anderson.
It's like you said last week. You forgot how good Taz is on the mic.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Anderson is good enough, but Taz is just an awesome mouthpiece. And just being there, and I love the fact that no one could touch him.
Exactly. He's untouchable. Now, our question of the week for this week.
What was your opinion?
I agree. I think this is the best thing to happen to Aces and Eights since they initially jumped Sting. And now our question of the week for this week is: what do you guys think of Dixie's big reveal? That they're taking Impact on the road. Do you like the idea of it going on the road? Would you like to see it stay in Impact Zone? Do you not care either way? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Twitter. Hit us up on our Facebook. Put it down where?
Down there.
Put it right down in the comments.
Bah!
And we'll talk about that next week. Now, before we move on a little bit, we did have a suggestion from one of our friends. Our friend Joshua Adams, 1044. He put, I got an idea for the ratings of your matches. Well, we actually rate the shows, but same deal. Mm-hmm. A Garrett is 0 stars to a Kurt, which is 5 stars. Now, our friends at the Deadly Sins, they do a similar thing. They do a Ralph DeSant scale, which Ralph basically is the lowest and Sant is the highest. I liked it. It's something we talked about. What we're going to do is we're going to try and figure out who we put in the other holes, and I think that's what we're going to move forward. We like the idea. I already talked to Paul. He doesn't think we're stealing his gimmick too much, but we're gonna implement that going forward. Now, this one we're going to still go on the 5-star rating. Once we do figure out what the new one is, we're going to put it on our Facebook and everything, so everybody knows when they follow along. And I think we'll also give the number rating when we say it too. But I like the idea. I think it's something interesting, something that will add to the show.
Yep. Off of that, we're going to go back to the show. Yeah. Sorry, folks. Got a cold. Anyways, Velvet Sky comes out, and she makes a challenge to Tara.
Jesse.
Well, I was getting that. And Jesse comes out with her, and her open fight was going to be a mixed tag match between Jesse and Tara and her special partner,
James Storm, the cowboy.
I like James Storm. I think if he's working with Jesse, I think he'll help Jesse out quite a bit.
I think the thing I don't like about James Storm, he's someone that's been in the main event recently, and I think they're kind of using him a little bit too much as this guy that fills a spot. Like, who was it? He was teaming with Hardy to help Hardy against Bad Influence against Kaz and Daniels. Mm-hmm. Now he's teaming with Velvet to help her against Jesse and Tara. That's the only thing, is they don't seem to have a place for him when I think he could be firmly entrenched in the main event.
He should be, but I remember they did this a lot whenever they go in wrestling. They used to do this a lot when they were overseas in Europe. They'd put one of the main event guys with one of the girls. Like, even, I think Cena did a mixed tag match one time on Raw. So, I mean, I don't... If they do it when they get back over here, then and do it more like this, then I would frown upon it. But being that it's over there, and it's more of a gimmick area...
Over where?
Over there. Anyways. Bang, bang.
That's my gimmick.
I know, but I stole that shit, too. Well, it doesn't bother me as bad. Now, if they did it at home, I would get kind of upset with it, because the guy is a main eventer.
Exactly.
He's not a showstopper.
Speaking of main events, our main event of the evening was Kurt Angle versus Mr. Anderson in a steel cage match.
One thing they did with this match beforehand is they showed their cage match they had 2 years ago. And usually I don't like it when they show a match that guys had beforehand, but it really sold for this one here, so it didn't bother me as bad. How about you?
I didn't, and I really enjoyed it. I liked the backstage where they had a little bit of Angle backstage, a little bit of Anderson backstage. I thought it was good. The match I thought was phenomenal. Mr. Anderson is someone who I think gets a little bit of a raw deal every now and again. Mm-hmm. He could really go when he's matched with the right person. And it's not like it's not for lack of effort that I'm saying that. I think his style just needs someone to complement it.
He does.
Like an Anderson versus James Storm match, I don't think would be that great. But an Anderson versus someone like Kurt Angle or Bobby Roode or Austin Aries.
Anderson works great with traditional wrestlers.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. And I liked it. I thought it was a great match. I think it's the best match of the night.
Oh, by far.
I liked that Anderson was wearing a variation of the Aces and Eights uniform, although he wore a white t-shirt when they wore black. But still, I liked it. It was a good thing. And then at the end of the match, we had Wes. Was it Garrett that was it? No, it was Wes that was out with him.
Wes was out with him.
With Angle to make sure the Aces and Eights didn't come in. And then we had one of the Aces and Eights come into the ring. And he pulls off his mask before Angle could get to him, and it's Garrett Bischoff.
Did you know about this, brother?
And then as soon as Angle turns his back on Wes Briscoe kneecaps him, and they beat him down, revealing that Wes and Garrett are part of Aces and Eights.
About time.
Well, the thing about it is, I think they're a good reveal. I think it's I think it's a little late, like you're saying, about time. After the reveal of Taz and Anderson being part of Aces and Eights, these guys just they don't give me that pop like Taz and Anderson did, or Taz himself did, because Anderson was kind of on the fence for a little while.
Well, I liked it. I thought, like you said, it was about time, and they're going to be a stronger part of Aces and Eights because they're already building.
They're going to be the jobbers for Aces and Eights.
I don't know yet, man. I'll be honest with you, because they're building them right into a storyline with Kurt Angle.
There you
go. And even if they lose, Kurt Angle's going to make them look good. Yeah. I mean, Anderson lost, but do you think any less of Anderson's character since he lost?
This was a good main event.
Oh, it was awesome. And you know what I liked about it? It wasn't a simple, I hit you with an angle slam and I pin you. I mean, it was a series of moves, a couple of false finishes, and then finally he tapped out to the ankle lock.
It was a really good worked cage match. I liked it. I really did. I thought it was the best match of the night by far. And overall, since we're going to stay on the star because we haven't worked out the names yet, but what would you give the night out of 5 stars?
You're probably going to go lower than me, but I was very impressed with this show. And the amount that it blew me away because, it was already pre-taped.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could have looked at the reviews and already figured it all out, stuff like that. I'll give it a 4-star because of the amount of effort they put into it and the lack of Hogan.
I think you hit the nail right on the head. I'm going to agree with you right at 4 stars. I think it did have room to be a better show, but I think it was good. It was as good as anything that TNA's put out for a while, and I liked what they did. I liked a lot of the matches they had on here. I liked a lot of the spots made sense, and they kept storylines going.
And that's what they got to do. If they keep working like this, because honestly, this product this week was better than WWE's product, in my opinion. I mean,
except for the last 15 minutes of Raw.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, the last 5 minutes.
Anyway.
But like I say, as far as product-wise, it was a better show. Would you agree?
I think so.
I think so.
Now, before we go off the air, there's a reason that this show is late this week. On Thursday, the night that we tape our Impact show, that we watch the show, my Aunt Cheryl passed away. And I just want to say, before we go off of here, I'd like to dedicate this show and to the memory of my Aunt Cheryl. I loved her very much. She knows how much I love her. I know that she's looking down, and she's smiling on this because she knows this makes me happy. And I know she'd be happy that we're talking about her. And like I said, I just want to dedicate this show to my Aunt Cheryl. I love you very much, and hopefully I'll see you one day. But basically, that's all I have. Is there anything you need to add, GR?
That's it, my friend.
My name is George Coles.
I'm Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.